Court is in session. I'll call the case of Christine versus Maggie. And in this case, Christine alleges that her dog died as the result of serious injuries inflicted by Maggie's dog. So first of all, tell me a little bit about where you live and the setting of what happened.
Okay, Judge, we live in a beautiful residential neighborhood. It's very quiet. Well, I should say the majority of the people are very quiet. Everyone gets along very well except Maggie and her white trash family.
What neighborhood do you live in?
Same one as you.
Oh, because we don't all get along with you.
Okay.
Small development where we have white picket fences, not necessarily white trash, white picket fences, and we take pride in our neighborhood. I have a beautiful garden. I have a white picket fence. My husband takes care of the landscaping. We mulch. I'm a chairman of the Keep Our Streets Beautiful committee, and someone does not keep their street very clean.
Okay, she's the busybody.
Let me just ask a minute. Do you live in the neighborhood?
I live in a neighborhood where she resides. It's not this perfect neighborhood like she's describing.
Okay, so the
it's
complaint,
not perfect, Judge, because of
well,
her.
so the complaint, this is against a neighbor of your neighborhood.
Right.
Okay.
Which would be Maggie
Got
of the
it.
streets. Maggie lives a few houses down from me, and the block has some issues with her. She's basically the neighborhood bully.
You have a
the
block.
neighborhood bully. And for example, she parks this large RV that she probably takes to several NASCAR events throughout the year, blasting her Garth Brooks music that she also blasts late at night. And she leaves it in the driveway.
You have friends in low places.
I'll give you a moment. I'll give you an opportunity to respond.
Well, the code enforcement says, the code enforcement officer says to make sure that Maggie keeps the RV in the garage. She does not abide by that rule or any other rules of the neighborhood for that matter. And that's the first issue I have with her.
Let me ask, well, we're not here over the RV, but I need to get the background. Do you have an RV?
I do have an RV, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Where's it parked normally?
Right now, it is. We are planning on going on a trip, so it is in our
White
parkway.
Trash, Winnebago.
Okay.
Couldn't afford
Go
one.
ahead.
Okay. All right.
I just want to make sure that I understand the
Yes,
setting
I do own
here.
an RV. She couldn't afford one, so
Well,
but I
all
do.
Now, where are we here?
Okay, well, Maggie and I have gotten into some shouting matches before because the walking carpet that she calls a dog, Fluffy, has been using my lawn as a toilet. And I have enough fertilizer on my toilet, so I don't need any more fertilizer on my toilet.
Is that true that your
Or on my lawn.
One time, my dog did happen to break away from me, and he did go to the bathroom on her lawn.
What happened then?
I told her I don't run out of the house with a pooper scooper. I was going to get a pooper scooper,
How
but
difficult
obsessive
is it
compulsive.
to carry a plastic
It's
bag
2.5
around?
seconds.
Ladies, let me just finish here. So you got the pooper scooper?
I went and got the pooper scooper. By the time I got to her yard, she was out there cleaning it and had it already cleaned up and was yelling like a lunatic in the front yard.
I
it was
take pride in my
embarrassing.
yard.
I was mortified for her.
You should be mortified that your dog used my lawn as a toilet.
All right, let's continue here. I understand that you two are lifelong friends, but let's continue here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, there's been a lot of bad blood, like I said. On one occasion, I put my dog out. I have a little beautiful little Shih Tzu named Tiger that I bring out on occasion. I dress up Tiger. She loves bows in her hair. She loves her little tutus. And she is the angel of the neighborhood, I would say.
And you use the same leash on your
Well,
husband.
excuse me,
as on
ladies.
your dog.
Is Tiger still alive?
No.
Oh, all right.
Tiger's not alive.
I saw in the notes that you gave me in the complaint. But anyway, tell me about Tiger. Tell me a little bit about, was Tiger an aggressive dog?
No, Tiger was an angel.
Tell me what specifically happened.
Maggie's dog barks and gets all the neighborhood dogs seriously agitated. And on several occasions, her dog, Fluffy, great name for a dog, way to emasculate that dog like you do your husband, likes to go walking along the fence and agitates all the other dogs. And on several occasions, he tried to attack Tiger before the incident in question.
Does your dog, do you have a yard, a fenced-in yard?
I do have a yard. I do have a fenced-in yard. My dog does bark. That's what dogs do. They bark when there's something amiss in the neighborhood. It probably sensed her inhumanity and barked at her.
Well, what
I can't
about
help
when
that.
people just walk by or walking near dogs?
He'll bark, they come up to him and he licks them to death.
I highly
kisses
doubt that.
and loves on them. He's a beautiful little boy and he kisses and loves them. You don't know what that's like.
Okay, tell me, so I want to know more about the specifics of the attack.
Well, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I like to walk the dog before work. Now, work is a novel concept for you, I'm sure. Work. So at 8 o'clock, I walked my beloved Shih Tzu, Tiger, down the driveway, and I saw her Neanderthal dog charging like a bat out of hell after my little dog. So the dog was unattended. She was probably sleeping off a hangover
This was
or something.
her dog.
I don't know.
Her dog was unattended.
Her dog was unattended.
Is that when the attack happened, or were you able, or...
Well, I barely got the dog in. That was the first incident. I barely got the dog into the house, and it came right up to my porch. Her dog should have been attended. But like I said, someone was lax.
All right. Do you remember that day?
I do remember.
Why was your dog loose?
My dog was not loose. She came with the police to my house. They come knock on my door. They walk in. Fluffy was eating because it was 8 o'clock in the morning and we don't have to go out and see what the neighborhood's doing because we're not busybodies like someone.
You're not busy because you don't work.
All right, let's go back here a minute. So tell me about, that was the first incident.
Well, when the dog was eating out of a bowl, as she calls it should be a trough because it's like a horse. A few days later, I was making dinner. And I enjoy making homemade meals for my husband, unlike Colonel Sanders over here, who invented the words takeout. So I decided to make dinner for my husband. I looked out the window to check on Tiger, who was on a leash, tied to a stake in the backyard.
That's love.
Okay, Tiger was not loose.
No, he was tied up.
And he was in your backyard.
He was in my backyard on my property.
And what happened next?
And I put the dog outside because I had been cleaning earlier in the day, and Tiger's got a very sensitive stomach. So I looked out and I screamed because Fluffy was over my little precious angel, and it was injured, and I took her to the vet. The poor thing, the bows in her hair were all crushed, her tutu was soiled, and I had to be highly medicated for several days.
Since 1993.
Right, hold on a minute. So did Tiger die? Is Tiger deceased?
Eventually, yes. We had to put her down.
And it was based on when
extensive
the other dog...
injuries from aforementioned
You know it was
mutt.
my dog. You 100% know it was
I
my dog.
100%. Listen, when it snows at night, I may not physically see it snow, but when I get up the next morning and there's snow on the ground, Judge, chances are it snowed at night.
Cheeky, Velma, did Scooby help you figure that out?
Let's hear your side a little bit. You do own a dog?
I own a dog who I am a responsible pet owner. I don't dress up my dog like a child. My dog we have a fenced-in yard. We live in a neighborhood.
To keep her husband in.
Okay, let me hear from her now.
We have a fenced-in yard, Your Honor. My dog has run of the yard. He does not have run of the neighborhood. I don't parade him around the neighborhood with a tutu because he's a dog. Just because I don't parade him and buy him tutus and frilly things doesn't mean I'm any less of a pet owner than she is.
Well, they say that dogs look like their owners, so I guess in that case they must be right.
Has the dog been loose at all? Did he get loose once or twice?
Once or twice he has. The first time he did make the horrible mistake of going on Aunt Edna's property to go to the bathroom. I went and got a pooper scooper. By the time I came back, she's out there with Windex and cleaning. Like, it's a dog, it's poop, I'll clean it.
Okay, so that time, your dog did not attack her dog.
No, my dog has not had an attack.
He just abused her lawn.
Yes.
All right, and you were going to clean it up.
I went to my house to get a pooper scooper.
How about the other times that, okay, hold on, please. How about the other times that there's allegations that your dog got loose and that chased Tiger?
First of all, the dog she claims it was loose and it chased her and her beloved little dog, who was a cute dog, I'll give you that, but it was a dog, not a child, no need to dress it up. She would take it on, she went and got a police, they came to my house, my dog was eating. He is a big dog, it's the summer, I doubt he was running after your little dog.
Okay, so you said that at the time the police came, your dog was where?
My dog was eating in the kitchen. They even looked, they could not even believe that they had to come for this call. Then she alleges that she looked in the backyard and her precious dog that she loved so much, tied to a stake in the yard like a wild wildebeest, was out in the yard, and my dog was hoovering over it, so it has to be my dog.
It definitely was your dog. Your dog, on numerous occasions, agitates the whole neighborhood.
Is the whole neighborhood here? No, it's just you.
Let me ask you a question. When the day that the police came and your dog was eating, from what I saw in the documentation, you're not sure how long your dog had been eating, right?
No, I don't clock it, no.
So that dog could have come back in.
It was not, I would say it could have, but I don't remember even, none of us have left it out to go free.
But do you acknowledge that your dog has run loose?
He has,
And
yes.
do you acknowledge that your dog has at times tried to intimidate or at least bark at
My dog
Tiger?
is, I guess she's trying to say my dog is the canine version of what she
you.
is, the neighborhood bully.
Of the neighborhood,
Well,
and he's
hold
the
on.
dog bully.
I'm trying to determine which dog is the aggressor. So your dog supposedly approached the smaller dog that was tied to a stake and supposedly did something that led to the death of that dog.
Your Honor, we
Yes.
live in the suburbs. There are other animals out there. Why would you leave something you love so much, and we go to the poo-poo salons for it, why would you leave it tied to a stake in a yard?
Because of his sensitive
Well-
stomach with
Well, actually,
the
there
cleaning
are laws that you're supposed to keep your dog attended, but that's one of the reasons we're here today, all right?
This is a new low for even you.
No, okay, let's have order here.
Low being your IQ.
Let's have order here. So where your dog was not injured,
No.
okay, in any way?
The only thing injured right now is I have to take off time of work. Well, yeah, I do have a job to come and play with the neighborhood bully in
Okay,
court.
what I'm going to do now is I'm going to consider the testimony I heard today and the documentation you each submitted, and then I will make a decision later. I wish you both well. I would not want my house to be in between you both, but I hope that whatever happens today, you work things out. So we're going to stand in adjournment. In the case of Christine versus Maggie, it's been a very difficult experience for me, but I've looked at everything. It comes down to a question of credibility. So my ruling is in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $2,600.
This is unbelievable.
We are in session. This is the case of Laura versus Mike. This involves a car that was purchased, and it involves an allegation that the car did not get the mileage that it was promised to get. So you brought the lawsuit. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why we're here.
Well, I'm environmentally, I like to work with the environment, recycle, and I wanted a car that rode mostly on electric power, but had the gas backup.
A hybrid kind of
A
car.
hybrid kind of car, yes. Now, this is a new kind of car. I hadn't really heard of it before, but it sounded great in all the advertisements.
Just so I'm clear, the hybrid car, you're familiar with it?
Yes.
And just so we're sure I have the right person, you are the one being sued?
Yes.
And do you sell hybrid cars?
Yes, I do.
Okay, now let's go back to you.
Okay, so I go into the dealership with an open mind. Mr. Mike here shows me this green car. Now, green's my favorite color, of course, so I really like.
Oh, it's not just green as the environment, it's literally green?
Oh yeah, green. And anything green. I just, I love to recycle. See my little rosebud made out of used ketchup packets. I make jewelry and stuff like that. So I went in to get this car. Mr. Mike here, before I know it, I'm in the office and he's having me do yoga and he's serving me green
do yoga.
tea.
You had me do yoga.
Hold on a minute. Is this about yoga or about cars? The car dealer, did you
I
do
didn't
yoga?
know at the time, Your Honor. She said she wouldn't even talk to me unless I did yoga with her
I
before
wanted
we
to
even
make,
started talking about the
I
car.
wanted to make sure we were calm and on an even plane, and I brought green tea. Do you like green tea, sir?
I'll pass on that, but
Okay.
okay. So anyway, there's yoga. There's yoga at the car dealer.
We did a little yoga just to calm down before we got started, okay? I told him what I was looking for. He took me out and showed me this beautiful green car. I'm looking at the figures and facts on the window and all, and mostly I'm interested in just driving it in the electric phase. I don't like to pollute the atmosphere, but you know, sometimes you do have to.
So I'm clear, these hybrids, I think that in the electric phase you have to find a charging station.
Yes,
and then they sit and they get charged, and then when they run out of a charge they go, gasoline's more of a backup, is that it?
Yes,
Is your understanding?
exactly.
Is that your understanding
Yes.
of the hybrid?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Okay.
I would go all electric, but then you know you're stuck if you run out of gas
Okay.
someplace. So
But that's what you wanted.
that's what I
And that's
wanted.
what he was selling.
That's what he told me he was selling. So we go out, I'm looking at all these figures. I asked him, if it runs out of electric power and I have to use gas, what kind of mileage does it get? Because that's a big concern of mine also. He tells me that it gets 60 miles to a gallon using gas. 60 miles to a gallon.
Driven properly, yes, it can.
Is that, hold on a minute, is that what you said to her?
That's an EPA, Your Honor, an estimated amount of mileage that you can get out of the gas, yes.
Well, what are considerations, you said, if it were driven properly? What did you mean?
If driven, you know, if you weren't going excessive speeds or climbing a lot of hills, and you know, if you were driving it normally to the store, as she told me she would, or church, or out for the paper. But apparently, if she's only getting the mileage, she said 30 miles at a gallon, she has to be driving it like Andretti. I mean, she has to be all over the place.
So you're saying that driving habits, that the mileage doesn't account for driving habits?
Oh,
is that
absolutely not, Your Honor. If you were to drive it properly, you know, not slamming on the brakes, not speeding up real fast, not driving around like a race car driver, not climbing a lot of hills like she said she wouldn't, then it's a good guess that she might get 60 miles to the gallon.
Excuse me.
Okay, no, well, you're the plaintiff.
How does he? Are you
let's hear it.
following me?
Oh,
Well,
not
anyway,
following
tell
you,
me
but if
some
you're getting
more.
that kind of gas mileage, lady,
Okay.
you're driving like a nutbag.
Tell me some more about what was important to you with this car besides the color. Then the gas mileage was important.
The gas mileage and the fact that I could use the electric to get back and forth to work. But I do occasionally go out of town and have to use the gas because...
Well, what happened with the mileage? Did it make the 60 miles?
No, sir.
Tell me about that.
I got to a point where I was told by him that I had to update the computer. There was some kind of status update with the computer.
The computer in the car?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I update the computer. All of a sudden, I'm checking on this, and I'm getting 29, 32, an average of 30 miles to a gallon. Nowhere near 60. Now, he told me to do the status update, which was great.
Would you say that that's when you noticed the problem?
Yes.
Was the update of the computer like an online update? Is that what it was?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Did you tell her to update the computer?
Your Honor,
some way in
eventually
car?
the computer system has to be updated, yes. It has constant information being given to it by programs, computer programs, things like that, to help it keep running efficiently. And I explained that all to her. And for her to get half the mileage it's actually estimated at is, I mean, it's an estimate. Kind of like I estimate that you're a nutbag.
Well, hold on a minute. So the car has a computer on board.
Yes, it does.
And some way through the internet, there are upgrades or updates to the computer.
Right, programs you can get for the car to keep it running properly.
And that affects the mileage?
Sure, it could. It helps keep things more. It just helps keep things cleaner. It keeps things motivated.
Was that explained to you after
No,
your
sir.
yoga session?
No, it was the yoga session was totally quiet.
How about when you were looking at the car?
Wish the rest of the
When
day
I-
would have been quiet.
Excuse me.
How about when you were looking at
When
the
I was
car?
looking at the car, usually cars have a sticker that tells you the mileage that you're going to get.
I'll
Car-
take judicial notice of the fact that new cars or old cars have stickers when you buy them.
Exactly. I asked Mr. Mike here where the sticker was that showed the mileage.
And what happened?
He told me that it was an unusually humid week and that the sticker fell off and blew away.
Do you remember if there was a sticker on?
Your Honor, there wasn't a sticker, but I did give her all the information to be able to go and get that information on her own on a computer or in our place even. But I told her we could get that information for her. It just wasn't on the car.
Let me ask you a question. Do you recall if she took a test drive?
No, she refused to test drive it.
Did you offer? Did you
Yes,
offer her
absolutely.
a test drive?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
And what did she do?
She said it would hurt the environment if she test drove it.
On
What
gas?
was the difference?
On gas, yeah.
You didn't have to test drive
hold
on
a minute.
gas.
Do most people take a test drive?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Okay, and after she refused to test, you did refuse to test drive?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Well, first of all, I was afraid to get in a car with him because he's just
believe me, I wouldn't have
goofy.
done
But
You were just doing yoga with him. All right, but anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
See, that's my way to get to know somebody. If I think I'm going to be able to trust them, boy, was I off on this one.
Your Honor, she's just an aging hippie. She's trying to just keep up with her old time.
Well, we're not going to take judicial notice of aging hippies, but we will take judicial notice that cars come with stickers. Now,
Yes, they do. Thank you,
all right.
sir.
Did you do some research on these cars? You
I-
apparently did some.
I did a little bit before I got there. Honestly, until I got there, I really wasn't concerned with the gas mileage as much as how far it would go on the electric.
Was this your first hybrid that you purchased?
Yes, it was, sir.
All right, let me
Yes.
just ask you, or you tell me a few things. You hadn't dealt with this lady before, from what I understand.
No, Your Honor. No.
All right, and you've had people purchase hybrids.
Sure.
All right. What did you explain to her when she came about this car?
I
Tell me what
explained to
you
her-
told her.
She was asking me if it would be environmentally friendly. I said absolutely, because it does run on batteries also. It doesn't need to constantly run on fuel. She still wouldn't drive it. I said it's a great little car. It will get what you need out of it, or you will get what you need out of it. I said you'll get all kinds of mileage out of it. She was just too worried about yoga and everything else, as opposed to getting the information like I told her she could get for the car. Even though we didn't have the sticker on it, she said herself she looked up on the car first. So then she should have known that information anyway.
Well, do your cars usually have stickers?
Yes.
And for some reason, this particular one did not have a sticker.
We had a couple cars on the lot that didn't have stickers on them that
A
were just
couple?
needing to get replaced. That's all. We didn't take them off the car, Your Honor.
You didn't take it off.
No, absolutely not.
Sir, I looked at all the cars that were there. None of them had any stickers that said anything
Well,
about
well,
gas
yeah,
mileage.
too
Once
many
you
brownies
saw
that
that,
day.
hold on a minute. Once you saw that, didn't you consider going home and checking it out before you put some money down?
I thought about it, but then he comes up with, I'll give you another $400 off if you take the deal right now and drive it home.
So at that point, would you say you trusted him?
I would, yeah, I did.
And this was a regular dealership. It wasn't anything unusual about it.
Not really.
It had a sign. It had cars on the lot.
It did,
You
yeah.
signed regular documents, financing,
I
everything.
signed a ton of documents.
Your Honor, she's just trying to get out of this legal deal. She obviously admitted the money part. She said when I said I'd knock off $400, well, sure, okay, I'll buy it.
Well, that doesn't make
Okay.
it all right for you to lie to me.
Please, both of you talk to me. So the long and short of it is that the car that you purchased did not have the mileage that he supposedly promised.
Yes, sir.
All right. I appreciate you both being in court. What I'll do now is I'll review the law, and I'll come back with a decision. So we are adjourned. All right, I've considered this case very carefully. It's a very close case. It's a question of trust. It's a question of representation. And I think the biggest problem that I have here is that the plaintiff who's asking for money did see some warning signs. The sticker wasn't there and still went ahead and made the purchase. So based on that, my decision in this case is for the defendant. In the case on the dog law, the reason that the plaintiff won is that there is a duty on the part of pet owners to make sure their pets are secure. There's a criminal law called the dog law where a person could really be fined if they harbor a dog that has a propensity to attack and that also attacks another dog or a human that is unprovoked. In this case, it was a civil case, and the reason the plaintiff won was the defendant was negligent or careless in letting her dog loose. And because the dog had gone after the plaintiff's dog before, and because the plaintiff absolutely identified the defendant's dog, I ruled in favor of the plaintiff. On the second case, it was very difficult to decide because the plaintiff had a legitimate claim that there was a misrepresentation as to the mileage. However, there's a certain amount of sales puffing that is allowed, an opinion or a judgment, like you see on a television commercial, like, oh, your husband's going to love this car. That's not any type of representation or misrepresentation. I think the biggest problem the plaintiff had in the car case is that the plaintiff had some red flags, the missing sticker, and did not stop and do a little research. Otherwise, the plaintiff may have had a legitimate claim against the car dealer, as happened in a recent court case in this country. Thank you.